Hi everyone, it's John here from the Graveler and CJM's events. I'm just giving a quick update here, or it might not be quick, it might take about 10-15 minutes just to make sure everyone has got all the race information for this coming Saturday, Saturday the 14th of February. Okay, so the Graveler. This is an amazing event, which you'll see some beautiful countryside at Molesworth Station. And Molesworth Station is actually New Zealand's biggest farm, so you're going to be riding across what is New Zealand's biggest farm, and there's probably very few New Zealanders, Kiwis, that actually know exactly where it is, let alone having driven or ridden in some of these roads. We don't want anyone to start the ride without having a clear understanding of the race and what it entails. So you've had an email sent out to you with race information. You need to read this and make sure you know exactly what is happening on the day, because if you don't know what's happening, you're risking yourself, you're risking other riders, and potentially it could be someone's livelihood if something happens in this remoteness of the area. And there's also potential risks, including fire, which 2 years ago we were on basically lockdown with fire restrictions to actually stage the event. So please take this information seriously and make sure you look after yourself and your fellow competitors. Okay, so race pack pickup will be on the Friday at Monteith Spa in Hamner Springs. That's 47 Murray Avenue, between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. That's 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. We will be set up in the courtyard area. If you're staying in Hamner Springs, we also ask that you support our sponsors for the events over the years. It's been Monteith Brewery and Bar, where you can get a great meal there. The Hamner Springs Four Square, whip in there and get your supplies, and Hamner Holiday Homes. These businesses are supporting the event, and just like yourselves, they're individuals. They own and operate these businesses, so please support them, because without your support and without their support, either the event won't happen, or if they didn't happen, you wouldn't be there, and we want you to support them to keep them all ticking over and being in business. Okay, race day. At the top of Jack's Pass, being the intersection of Top House Road and Molesworth Road, known as the Rainbow Junction. Please park on the riverside on Top House Road. Do not park on the berm or any of the grass. Park on the road itself. To make sure you allow enough space for cars to get past. No vehicles we want being parked on the grass. This is fire risk, even though the temperatures could be down, there might be a bit of moisture about. We still don't want to take any risks whatsoever of a spark or something happening, not only when you park, but it may be when you leave later onwards. So it's recommended that you park well past the bridge. As you come up Jack's Pass, you take the left. Do not carry on up the road and park there. That is where the riders, all your riders, will be heading that way. So if you go to the left, over the bridge, and park along there, park on one side of the road, not on both sides of the road. So just park on one side of the road would be greatly appreciated. And those who are parking at the Hamner domain, please follow the parking signs that'll be there. There will be transport to the start. This leaves at Hamner Springs domain. It leaves by the entrance of where you'll be coming into the finish line. So that is where it will be. So it's at 7 a.m. is when it leaves, so outside the domain entrance. If you're getting transport, this is only for you, it's not for your bike. You need to take the bike, needs to be taken up to the start line from 4 p.m. on Friday and can be left at the start. We have security there and they will be looked after during the night by security until we arrive there early in the Saturday morning. Please make sure you take your bike up to the start by 4 p.m. There won't be anyone there earlier, so if you take it up earlier, recommend you want to wait till the start. There's no transport taking bikes to the start on Saturday morning. They need to be taken up on the Friday afternoon. The start will see all the riders start together, fastest to the front, slowest at the back, and it's self-seating. If you pick up your race number or received your race number in the mail, and for some reason you do not start, please text Carol on 027 253 1056 or email her at carol, CAROL, at CJM'sEvents.co.nz saying that you aren't starting and you've already picked up your number or had it posted to you, because we don't want to be out there looking for you during the day to say somebody's out there when you're sitting at home relaxing. So please make sure you let us know. The Molesworth Akron Road, the ride will take everyone up this road, and you will ride approximately 51 kilometres, where you'll turn left left just prior to the crossing of the Severn River Bridge. There will be marshals at this point. There'll be the comms guys that will be there, and they'll direct you onto the Severn CJM'S track. If by any chance you do go past it, but it'll be pretty remote, and you get to the sign that says red gate, you've gone too far. Turn around and come back. But I can't see that happening anyway. When you reach the 51k spot, the marshals will be looking for your numbers. If you are asked, please make sure you let them know. This is our first checkpoint that we need to know where everybody reaches that point. Again, like the other part, we don't want to be out down the road trying to find somebody to see if they've gone off the side of the road or anything like that. You need to make sure your numbers are visible. Please do not wrap the number right round the seat, the bike stem at the front. They can't see your numbers at those stages, and it makes it very, very difficult. So aerodynamic you're going to talk about, but the slight difference that's going to make, I don't think it's going to be a big difference in a 132k gravel race. Make sure your number is visible. Across to Rainbow Road, here you'll ride on the southern bank of the Alma River on the Severn CJM'S track, it's called. I've got road and most of the information, but it's like a beer track. Depends whether it's all been graded and how the amount of traffic that's been through in the last couple of weeks will impact the conditions of the road. What it is what it is. You will have a few small streams to cross. They're all rideable. Follow along the orange dock markers through the road until you get to the Rainbow Road. At approximately 68k, you will cross the Alma River. Be prepared to get a bit wet feet there, although there's still a bit of rain happening. There could be a bit of moisture on the day, and that will create quite a steady stream through there. So be prepared. You might have to jump off the bike and carry your bike across there. It is rideable, but it depends on your skills. But the first option is, if you don't want to get too wet, you take the wider option. The shingle at the bottom may be a bit softer. Second option, there's sort of two cross. One's a bit shorter, but it's a bit rougher and a little bit deeper. From the Alma River crossing, you have approximately 5k to the CJM'S Hut and Rainbow Road intersection. You do not go into the Tarndale homestead. Follow the orange markers. The orange markers are there, and any pink paint that is painted on the ground. Do not climb over any locked gates and throw your bike over. That's not where you go. Across the across to CJM'S Hut, there will be a couple of gates that may be open, may be closed. You will need to open them and close them behind you as you go through, because there are stock and that out there. So please do this. This is part of what the race is. It's part of that culture. Coming down Rainbow Road, the gates and that will be all open for you with marshals on them, the same as when you're coming up the Molesworth Road. But coming across the on the Severn CJM'S Road or track, the gates and that could be shut because there's so much stock control that needs to go through there, and it's not as simple as just shifting the stock for the bike race, because that would take days of people getting out there to shift the stock. So please be wary of those gates, but do not climb over any locked gates. Okay, Rainbow Road. When you come to Rainbow Road, there will be a drink station with water and R-Line electrolyte drinks. This is by the CJM'S Hut. We'll be able to get up there something like 200 litres of fluid. From this point, you'll have approximately 55k to go. Please do not waste the water. Do not take more than what you really require for that last 55k. It is estimated around about a litre per participant. While some riders won't require any, others may require a little bit more. With 25k's to go, we'll hopefully have about 60 to 80 litres of water at this location as well, where there will be a marshal there for you. When you reach the Rainbow Road, again, you'll be checked off. If asked for your number, please provide it. And on Rainbow Road, there is an awesome wee climb on up to the island saddle. When you descend this, please be extra careful. It's a long way down if you go across the side. It is quite a fast downhill, but be really, really careful coming down there. The Clarence River Valley Road, when you reach to the start point, the top of Jack's Pass, you will turn right and go down the Clarence Valley Road towards the finish at the bottom of the pass. This is 8 k's from the finish when you turn. It has 500 meters of descent and 500 meters descent in the last 6 kilometers. You need to be really careful here, as you won't want to ruin your race in the last portion by going too fast down here and coming down and falling. It is steep, and there are some corrugations and that on the road, so be really, really careful here. We had one rider come down in year 1, and his arm was cut up quite badly, so please be very, very wary of this. At the finish, as you reach the bottom of the Clarence River, there will be stop-go control in place for you to come onto Jack's Pass Road and turn into the Hammer Springs. Riders will go up the driveway of the domain, onto the field, and into the finishing chute. While we have a stop-go control in place at the domain, be prepared to stop, as all roads are open throughout the ride. And some drivers do get very, very frustrated at having to stop for cyclists and can do some crazy things at times. So just be very, very wary of that. A very good saying is, if you get hit by a car, it still hurts the same whether you were right or whether you were in the wrong. So please be very, very wary. As I say, the roads are all open throughout the whole event. So public could be driving vehicles and doing all sorts of things, so just be very, very wary of that. And our marshals will endeavour to advise drivers of the race as they're coming down Molesworth Road or Rainbow Road at those gates. Now the cut-offs, there are cut-offs. The turn-off of Molesworth Road at 11 a.m, that's when you go onto the 7 Road, that is 55 k's. And then when you hit the drink station at Sedgemere Hut on Rainbow Road is 12:15. And naturally the finish line is 4 p.m. If you don't make any of these points and you're asked to get into the Tail End Charlie vehicle with your bike and put it on the back of the vehicle, please do not argue with the Tail End Charlie. If this happens, there's no way they can leave you to ride behind the vehicles or expect these volunteers to ride behind you for hours beyond what was expected. So please respect these cut-offs. That is there for your health and safety, and also the marshals. The times in that are achievable. I think we've only had one person who didn't make the Molesworth Road at 11 a.m. In the first year, I think those cut-offs were made. The Rainbow Road one has been missed a couple of times by people, and that actually came down to being flat batteries or bike issues that people had. So please respect those. If you're riding an e-bike, all e-bike riders are to have a fully charged battery on their bike along with 2 charged spare batteries. Don't argue by not having these, as it is experience has told us. Year 1, when we had only 2 fully charged batteries, riders run out of juice when they were coming up Island Saddle, and it's a long way to push a heavy bike. We had somebody on an e-bike last year who rode the last 30k with 1%. He rode it manually just to get through, to show he could do it on 2 batteries, but made hard work of the last 30k. So he still had his 3rd battery, didn't want to stop and change it over. So you need to make sure you got those 3 fully charged batteries. Markings, there will be, very little markings out on the roads. The roads, there are only 3 roads you go on, and across the station from Molesworth to Rainbow Roads, you will have the orange markers of dock across from Molesworth Road to Rainbow Road, and we'll have some pink glow coat painted on the roads showing things to where to go. There may be some painted there that say slow down, and it's recommended that you take heed of those messages. If you see something painted on the road that says slow down, there is a reason for it. Injuries, if you do come across someone who may have come off their bike or suffered an injury, we have medics with Tarlene Charlie and an ambulance at the finish, which can come up Rainbow Road if the field's well stretched out, so we can get to you that way. If something happens when you're coming across that 7 Sedgemere Road, it would be more than likely there could be a helicopter that we need to call out to get you if you aren't in a condition to get a ride in the Tarlene vehicle to come back. So if someone falls off, just make sure you do it. If you've got your cell phone with you, it is no use except for the last 6 Ks in the ride. That is when you have reception. There's no reception from the start through to 126 Ks. So be wary of that. If you're taking a cell phone with you, the battery may be flat when you finish, because it'll be trying to search to try and get some signal for you. We have comms throughout the ride, courtesy of Molesworth Station, using their repeater beacons, so we will have communications. We'll have comms people at the turn-off, we'll have comms people at Sedgemere, and then at the down at the finish, so there'll be a full setup there and they have communication to everybody throughout the ride. Now the fire risks are very real up there, so if anything are on fire risk, please be aware of that in that whole area. Don't do anything with any fires or lighting any fires. These following things must be obeyed throughout the day. There are no vehicles to follow or attempt to follow the race or drive up Tophouse Road or Molesworth Road. No vehicles that park or drive on any grass at the start. There is to be no smoking or vaping at the event. That includes at the finish and the domain. If in case of a fire during the event, riders should move downhill towards the river. If the fire is around you, get into the water safely. Do not go up a hill. As fire travels uphill, it travels slower downhill. If a rider thinks they see a fire, they must inform the next marshal or stop if they see it in front of them. If you have a fire extinguisher, it will be a good idea to put it in your car just in case over the weekend. The finish. Once you've finished, you can sit back and have a drink and a yarn and about the ride and where things went so well for you, or how fast you could have ridden the ride, or how fast you were. Okay. Prize giving will be at the finish line in the Hamner Springs domain. It is anticipated the prize giving will be around 4:15. The cut-off for all finishes is 4 p.m. If this varies considerably, we will advise on the day. Drink stations, there will be electrolytes, R-line electrolytes and water at the turn-off onto Rainbow Road. We recommend that you have at least 2 litres of fluid with you at the start, and a backpack or drink bottles at the start to get you through as well. Punches and chains. We recommend that you have the ability to repair or replace tubes up to 3 times. This has been a gravel event, and you need to know how to replace a tube, a tyre, or plug your tyres. Tarlene Charlie is not a bike mechanic and will only be picking up riders if they miss out on any cut-offs. They're unable to, he wouldn't know how to fix a bike for you or change a chain spacer at Tarlene Charlie's. They'd be using the vehicles this year. If you do break a chain, make sure you know how to fix it. This is recommended for you. It is also recommended that you have lubrication for your chain as well, as it gets extremely dusty at times. Health and well-being and your ability. We ask again that you have the capabilities and are fit enough to complete this event, as you will be in a very remote place of New Zealand. It isn't a Sunday outing where you're stopping and taking photos. We emphasise this for yours and everyone's health and safety and well-being. If you can't meet cut-offs, you are jeopardising the event or the effect of the Tarlene Charlie and the placement of analytics. We also stress that if you've had any chest pain or heart palpitations over the last 2 weeks, that you get this checked by a doctor prior to competing. Recommended gear. We recommend that you carry a survival blanket or bag just in case of injury, and a seam-sealed jacket, as the weather conditions can change quickly and the temperatures can drop very, very quickly. If it rains, it may be worthwhile to have that survival. Make sure you've got that survival blanket, and in case something does go wrong. The weather forecast for Saturday, there is rain forecast in Hamner Springs with a low of 10 degrees and a high of 15 degrees. With the race up through Molesworth, that can vary considerably. It could be 5 degrees lower or 5 or 10 degrees warmer than what it is in Hamner Springs. So it can change and fluctuate considerably within there. The weather conditions could be very, very cold, and the winds could be very, very strong when you're up there. Totally different to what it is at Hamner Springs. So be very, very mindful of this. COVID-19, if you've tested positive to COVID or have symptoms of COVID-19 in the last year, or a household contact has, we request that you do not take part in the event out of respect to other participants and their families. We don't know who could be immune compromised, and we don't want somebody there who could pass that on to a rider or a marshal or someone on our team who could pass on to somebody else who is immune compromised. Biosecurity, it's important that we protect our water in New Zealand, and as you'll be going through one river and potentially a couple of small streams, please refer to the link that was sent out in the email for clean, dry riding and protect waterways. There was a link in the email that went out, so please click on that and make sure you're doing things responsibly there. Sponsors, as said earlier, please support our major sponsors, being the Hamner Holiday Homes, Montesbury Bar, Hamner Square Springs for Square, R-Line Electrolyte Drinks, Life Care Medical, Glow Coat and Vista. The businesses in Hamner Springs support the Graveler, so please support them and tell them that you're in town doing the Graveler. Tell everybody that you're there to doing the event. People are travelling from all over the country for this. 40% of the entrants are from the North Island, with only 35% from Canterbury, with Molesworth actually ticks into Marlborough, but Hamner Springs is in Canterbury. So 35% of the riders, so basically 65% you can say are travelling from outside, 65% travelling from outside of Canterbury to take part in the event. So there's a full mixture from all over the country, and there's some international riders there as well. So until Saturday, safe riding, and on Saturday, safe riding, and we'll see you on the start line, or we'll see you at race pack pickup for those who haven't had it posted out at between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Friday. Hey, take care everybody, and we'll see you on Saturday. Cheers.